Well, as we go along and we advance in our podcast, we like to try different things.
Yes.
And we, unfortunately, also find a lot of speed bumps.
Now, speed bumps meaning it was not a speed bump having 4 people in our studio.
It was 6 people.
I'm sorry. Oh, gosh, that's right.
Counting ourselves.
That's true. 6 people and we have 4 microphones and very inadequate equipment in order to handle that sort of sound. We did that for this episode.
My thought is a speed bump is a lot easier on you than a pothole. So it was a speed bump.
Well, yeah. And you know what? It just tells us that, you know what? We want to try stuff that's new. We want to involve other people with it.
Right.
And especially seeing how what we have done is we brought 4 people, 2 couples that had a great amount of knowledge when it comes to going on cruises.
Right. And they've also affected our lives greatly. And we know them very personally.
Very personally. With that being said, just giving you a heads up that this audio, but what you're about to listen to, is going to be not as quite the quality as it normally is.
The short version of that is we had some sound issues.
Yes, we did.
And I mean, it's still good. This information is still good, but it's not as high a quality sound as we would like it to be. So please hang in there with us. We're tweaking.
Yes, which we're looking at possibly upgrading some equipment in order to handle that sort of.
Yes.
So, hey, listen.
We spend a lot of money on this considering we make no money on this.
I know, right? Okay, so with that being said, enjoy this episode. Hi, I'm Steve.
And I'm Sandy, and we're 2 tenderfoot tourists. Welcome to episode 68, the one about the beginner's guide to cruising.
Once again, we're here talking about cruises.
And we're really excited today because we have back with us the ambassadors of cruising, Justin and Wendy.
Say hello, guys.
Hi!
And also we have Sean and Jennifer, good friends of ours. We've known them for years and years and years.
Hello.
Hello. Today we're going to be a little more focused. If you're a person who's never been on a cruise before and you're scared, you're nervous, and you don't want to make a lot of mistakes, you want to make it a smooth process, these 2 couples are the people to talk to because Sandy and I have never been on a cruise.
Right, they have been, so
yeah,
there we go.
Justin and Wendy on here before discussing cruises and
the episodes. Yep.
The episodes, if you want to go back and listen to those, what was it, 17, 18, and 19, they're there. And where we're going to start is, and I think is the best place to start, booking a cruise. I know that in the past you guys have recommended a travel agent. Am I right?
Yes.
And Sean would agree.
Yes.
Okay. Now, why is it would you recommend a travel agent as opposed to going onto the computer?
There's a couple of reasons why we prefer going with the travel agent. Number one is they handle all of your sail pass and all of your cruising documents. They will enter in all that information, make sure the passport information is correct, and just have everything neat and orderly for you. So we like to do that. Also, sometimes you can get extra benefits by booking with a travel agent. Sometimes when we've cruised with a large group before, we've gotten some additional onboard credits, which can be used on board for drinks or specialty dining or even your gratuities. And then also we like to go through a travel agent because if for some reason there's a price drop, then instead of us constantly having to be on the lookout and calling the cruise line, the travel agent will handle that for us.
Yeah, I know since I booked that we've experienced that twice. They've had 2 price drops and they've given us refunds or they've adjusted the price.
Yes, and since our reservations are linked, we have a total of 3 rooms between the 2 couples that she'll go ahead and take care of it for all 3 rooms.
One of the great aspects of a travel agent is they're the person on the phone with the cruise line, setting on waiting for 20, 30 minutes, whatever, on the phone.
For you.
As your representative to take care of the things that you would be on the phone doing.
Mm-hmm. So when choosing a travel agent, is there a process in which you look for in a travel agent that you pick, or you just kind of like randomly go through this phone book and say, it's a travel agency, I'm sure there's a travel agent there that can help me?
I think one of the best ways is to find out from your friends and your family. Mm-hmm. A travel agent that they use a lot and they've got a rapport with and they've had a history with. Mm-hmm. And that generally means that they're probably pretty good at their job. And, most people have this misconception that travel agents cost something. They cost nothing. They're compensated by the cruise lines. And so the rate that you see online is not going to be any different with a travel agent. Mm-hmm. There's not going to be any extra cost with a travel agent. So for us, it's just a no-brainer.
So would you say also, guys, that it's wonderful to have a travel agent because it's an advisor too? I mean,
yes. Yeah, they do have a lot of knowledge in all those areas, but also what's great about travel agents is they're not all created equal. Some travel agents have extra training, like the travel agent we use in particular, even though we don't ride luxury cruise lines, but she is a specialist in luxury cruising. So travel agents have various expertise and various skills and knowledge concerning different aspects of cruising.
Okay.
One other thing that a travel agent can do is while you're actually on your cruise, if something happens and you need someone to be in contact with the cruise line and handle something for you while you're actually on your trip, they can take care of that on your behalf so that you don't have to miss any more of your vacation.
That's really cool.
That's awesome. Would you agree, Jennifer?
Yes.
That's great.
So anyway, okay, so now you've booked a cruise and you went through a travel agent. It's not necessary, but it is advised.
I would say so.
Okay. So you went through a travel agent and you guys are planning on going a 4-day cruise out of Galveston?
Yes, Galveston, Texas.
And you have one stop is Cozumel.
Yeah,
right,
one port, Cozumel.
I'm sorry.
And we're going with 3 or 4 couples. I'm not exactly sure how many are going yet. The number keeps growing. And we've got...
I haven't heard this.
And we've got 3 teenage girls.
Yes.
Okay, so originally it started off with you wanting to give a graduation present to your daughter Hannah.
Yes.
Yeah, which also we have had on the podcast.
And we love.
Yeah, it was on the 3rd episode of our road trip. We were talking about Route 66 because she actually rode on Route 66. So this was a graduation gift for her, and she's taking along another friend, which is another friend of the family. And then Sean is going as well, which is kind of weird.
He's taking Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And Jennifer's going as well.
Yes.
Sean and Jenn are going as well.
And it's his wife.
So how did you get Sean in on this?
For us, we really just, the more the merrier. So we don't care who goes cruising with us. Like, we really do feel like we're ambassadors in a way for cruising. But we'll tell the folks we know or friends or family, whoever, we'll say, hey, we're going on a cruise if you want to go. I'm not paying for it.
Question. If we ever go with you, can we keep it a secret?
Keep it a secret.
I would want to keep it a secret.
We might want them to ourselves.
Oh. They're being selfish.
Sean.
I get it.
Yes,
Did you hear that?
Wow.
Wow. What'd you do?
I don't know.
It's John.
Which time?
So that's
better.
Yeah.
That's how it
Still
usually
better.
starts. It usually starts with us saying, hey, we're going to go on a cruise, and then whoever wants to go can come, and then it kind of snowballs from there usually.
How many people do you usually have come along with you who've never rode before or gone on a cruise?
We had multiple times. We had a cruise that there was a majority of the folks had never been on a cruise.
So did you have to guide them as well, like saying, this is what you need to bring, this is the things you need to do, this is what's
Some
going
of
to
them.
happen?
Sometimes we host pre-cruise parties
Do you?
where
Yes,
people
we
can
do.
ask questions
That's
and
so awesome.
share
Parties.
packing lists.
So if you guys have another one of those little parties sometime, can we come just because?
Yes, you can.
I was at one of those parties one time. You guys were introducing
Yes, it's a
everybody.
bon voyage party usually.
Now,
I think they're getting paid by the cruise lines. I think that's what's happening.
Is
I
that
think
what's
that's
happening?
the secret.
Get the kickback,
I think
aren't
if they get
Did
enough
it- are
people,
you
they get
guys
a free
getting a
cruise. I
kickback?
think that's what's going on here.
I wish.
How much money are you making on us?
It's called the whole sum of $0.
that's amazing. How are you going to spend it first? So, okay, so
They just want to pull a lot more people into their obsession. That's what they want.
That's right.
well,
We want converts. We want converts.
it's not hard to convert convert me, man. I'm telling you what, I want to go on a cruise so bad I can barely stand it.
You should go on a cruise, Steve.
I should go
you
on a cruise.
should totally go on a
And you
cruise.
should
Why don't
take
you come
Sandy.
with us?
Why haven't you guys been on a cruise?
You should take Sandy with
Why
you.
haven't you guys been on a cruise?
Sandy's hiding behind her microphone.
Why is she hiding behind the microphone?
I don't know.
Because it's my fault.
Because it's Sandy's fault?
My job interferes with when he wants to go.
Okay, and that is something to
man.
talk about. Whenever you plan a cruise, there are peak seasons and there is more favorable seasons as far as financially speaking.
Yes.
And anytime you guys go, it's better off for you to go is because it's usually hurricane season, isn't that right?
Yes, hurricane season traditionally is the best time to go on a cruise because the cruise fares are a lot cheaper because people are afraid of the hurricane. But the reality of all that is that a ship is a floating hotel, so it will just go around the hurricane. Now, you may not go to the exact ports that you wanted to go to originally, but you'll still go to a fantastic port, and you won't even be in the track of the hurricane.
I gotcha.
If we went, we'd be so new, we wouldn't even know if we went to the right ports or not. So
That
it
is
wouldn't matter.
So let's use your guys' trip that's coming up as a guideline or a way of explaining, the process, what it looks like. How about parking? Some people don't. That's the last thing I'm thinking about is parking. What does a person need to look for, and how do they find a place to park? And is there any economical ways or tricks to actually finding a place to park?
Or the safest places.
Ooh, that's even better. Yeah. Oh, everybody's looking at Wendy.
Sean,
did you have something to say?
I'll just tell you, the one time we've gone in Miami, we stayed at the Quinta Inn, and they had free parking. If we stayed there before, we went on the cruise, they let us park there the entire time free.
They must have had a huge parking lot.
They do. And I don't know if they
Did
were
you have a
rushing.
shuttle that took you?
We had a shuttle that took us there, but they didn't bring us back when we got back to the port. They wouldn't bring us back, so we had to get a taxi to come back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do they have security and everything too?
It's a hotel parking lot. That's all it is. So
They almost all have cameras. That kind of
yeah, they have cameras and everything.
Going out of Galveston, because we've been on 3 other cruises, getting ready to go on a 4th out of Galveston. We usually stay in Texas City, which is about 20, 30 minutes away from the port.
Oh, okay.
And then we drive in and park at the Port of Galveston. There's a shuttle that runs to and from the parking lot. You swing by, you drop off your luggage first, and then you go park your vehicle, and then they shuttle you back over to the ship. And you can either pay in advance and save $5, or you can just drive up the morning of and park. But we tend to do that because the cost of the parking lot and the hotel in Texas City ends up being less than if we paid for a hotel that had parking included and pay for the shuttle, either the return trip or round trip or an Uber or something. So for us, economically speaking, it's better to book those separately. Now, when we went out of Florida this last year, we did one of those hotels that had the round trip shuttle that was included both ways, and it ended up being cheaper than paying for it separate. So depending on your port, just check into what's available.
I would say generally those are the 2 modes. You either drive to the port and you find parking there on site, which a lot of ports have, or you do go the hotel route where a lot of them have a service where they say if you stay with us, then you can park here for the week or however long you're going on the cruise. Now, some people, if they're flying into the port or into an airport close to the port, then generally nowadays they'll take an Uber or Lyft or something like that.
Okay, so yeah, I guess you've never flown into a port though. You've always driven to wherever you're going, Sean, right?
Right, we drove to Miami that time we went.
That's true.
We had 4 kids with us, so
yeah,
it was cheaper.
Mine would have been pretty darn expensive.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
true. Good point.
So we drove.
Yeah. Okay, but would your travel agent have that kind of knowledge of where it is that's best and what would work best for you, I guess, or? She
checks into the rates for hotels to see if there is a park and cruise fare that's cheaper. We actually had her, for this next cruise, check into a hotel that offered it, but it didn't include the shuttle and the price of the hotel. We knew it was going to be more. So, if you book through the Port of Galveston for your parking, you have to do that directly, but they can provide the link for you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Sandy, you got anything?
I'm good. Keep going.
Keep going. You found a place to park. Okay. You've booked the cruise. The time comes, and you have to have it paid off you can't pay it off. You have to pay it off before you arrive at the port, correct?
I think it's 90 days.
Is it 90 days? You have to have it paid off 90 days prior to.
Yes.
I think that's a general rule, though, because there's all different cruise lines.
Does that change whether you're booking through the actual cruise line or through a travel agent?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter? Okay. We've got ourselves on a cruise. We're at the port. We're getting ready to load on. So what is the first thing you need to do or anybody needs to do before they actually get onto the boat? I mean, what is the process?
First,
Sandy?
What do you call loading on?
Oh,
as
yeah.
Steve would put it.
Loading on.
Embarkation.
Embarkation. It is big words.
These are big words.
Embarkation really starts whenever you drop off your luggage.
Oh, that's where it starts.
Be ready to tip.
Yes.
Tip your luggage people.
Yeah.
That's
tip
good to
them,
know.
for sure.
Those folks are called porters. So what you do is you'll pull up to the curbside there of the port you're in. You'll get out. You'll hail a porter. They're usually sitting right there. They have luggage racks. They'll take all your luggage. You generally tip a porter $1 to $2 per bag. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's the general tipping rate. Then they will actually take that to be loaded onto the ship. Then you go to park. Okay, so you're going to drop off all your luggage.
Yeah, are you like right next to the ship when you do that?
Yeah, pretty close. There's usually just a building between you and the ship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You'll drop off your luggage, give it to a porter, tip them, then you'll go to your parking station, and then they usually have, if you're parking there in the port parking, they usually have shuttles. You get on a shuttle, and they'll take you back to the port in the terminal building. And at that point, you wait for them to open the terminal building. And once they open the terminal building, then you go inside, you get in line, you have to be scanned and screened, all your carry-on luggage.
Is that a TSA thing? Is that what you're saying?
The Port Authority people, yeah.
Port Authority. Yeah. So they do the same thing that TSA does, essentially.
They'll look at your passport, they'll
check your luggage.
If you don't have a passport, what do you need to bring with you?
I believe any cruise line would require on a closed loop cruise to have an original birth certificate. Mm-hmm. And if you are married, a woman, you would need a copy of your marriage license to show the name change. And I believe a state issued photo ID. But you can always check whichever cruise line, their website, and see.
If you're on a closed loop cruise where you're going out of one port and coming back to the same port at the end, you don't necessarily have to have a passport. The problem is, though, if you get left or stuck in another country, you will have to have a passport.
In order to get back home.
You will.
Or if you get injured and they need to fly you back. Right.
So technically you don't have to have a passport to go on a closed loop circuit and cruising. But I would not recommend it because if you get left behind, you are going to need it.
You're swimming home.
Yes.
That's a long swim.
That's a long swim.
I don't know how long it's been since you've gotten a passport, but do you know how long it takes to get one?
We ended up just renewing our daughters, and it took, I think, 2 to 3 weeks to get it back. And that's fairly quick. I know.
Especially there was a time I thought it was like 6 months for people sometimes. So.
It used to be a lot longer.
When we went the first time, it took a long time, and I think they had just implemented some new rules. And so and I think that was like 2007, 2006, maybe we got the passports, but it took a while back then. I think the Patriot Act was just enacted or something like that. They were changing rules, so
and
it took quite a long time.
A passport lasts for 10 years. Mm-hmm. So once
for adults.
Mm-hmm. And so once you have that, you're pretty set for quite a while.
Right. Okay. 5 years for kids, I believe.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang it, because they keep growing.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
So you'll give them, you're giving the documentation. You got to go through the scanners, and once the
Port Authority.
The Port Authority. Thank you.
Once you do that, then you'll go to one of the terminal desks and you'll start the process of boarding. They will generally issue your CPAS card. You will have to fill out a form about your health information because they will not.
Is this at a counter? Yep,
okay. It's at a big long counter.
Okay.
If you're sick, you cannot board the ship. So they'll ask you some health information. If you're pregnant to a certain point, and I don't know the exact point, but if you're pregnant to a certain point, they will not allow you on the ship.
Darn, I can't go.
Yes.
Yep. There we go. It ruined it for you, Sean.
So I do think they may ask you questions about if you've been in certain countries in the last however many months. So once you talk to those are all representatives of the cruise line. So once you talk to the representatives of the cruise line, and they get all the information they need from you, and you get the information you need from them, then you'll go to most generally, if you're getting there right when the port opens, you'll have to wait in the terminal for a while, because what is happening is there's a huge turnaround when the ship comes back into the port, and they've got to unload and load all kinds of things, trash, food for the next cruise. They've got to clean all the rooms and all the cabins. They've got to redo all the bedding. I mean, it is a giant production. And so once they've got all that taken care of, the switchover, then generally they call people based on all cruise lines, or most cruise lines, have kind of a reward system, a tier system. And so they will call the higher tiers first and then progress down to the lower tiers usually.
To the peons.
Yes.
But if you travel with someone that's higher up, a lot of times they will let you board the same time as them.
Well, that's with Royal Caribbean. I don't know about other cruise lines.
That's why we're going with them.
That's it. Okay, I got a question then. So you're going to be sitting there waiting to board.
Yes.
How accurate is their schedule? So someone who's listening and we're like, I just get there, get on board, and
you can't expect that. A lot of things factor in. There could be fog. There could be they got back late to the port. There could be a medical issue. You can't say for certain when you're going to get on the ship. You know, most of the time you can say generally you can get to any given cruise port 9:30, 10 a.m. and it won't be too long before they let you into the terminal building. But you're probably not going to get on the ship before 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Now that's not a hard and fast rule because it can change.
It looked easy on the Love Boat.
Oh yeah, no joke.
What time do you usually get there?
We get there 9:30, 10 usually. We
want to get there at 10.
We want on the ship as soon as we can get on, because you're paying for it. So you might as well get on it as soon as you can.
Right.
Well, what time do they suggest you be there though?
They actually give you staggered start times.
All right.
Ignore those.
Okay.
Ignore those.
Is that good advice for someone who's never done it before?
Yes, everyone does it. Ignore it. All you haters out there, you do it too, okay? Ignore those.
Okay, just to let everybody know who's listening, this is the man when we get to the corn maze, and he's told specifically, do not run out of the path. This is the man who does.
Immediately as you walk through the entrance, he zips into the corn and takes off.
This is the man, right?
Well, there's no laws.
There's some suggestions, that's all.
There's suggestions.
Mild suggestions, right?
My suggestion is to get to the terminal early and get to the ship early, because you're really paying for the cruise, and sooner the better when you get on the ship.
And usually they'll have the restaurant, some of the restaurants open, at least the buffets and stuff like that. So as soon as you get on, you can have lunch and
drop your stuff off.
The terminal does have places to eat and things like that. I mean, you're not, or are you talking about on board the ship?
On board the ship.
I'm talking about on board the ship.
Where you've already paid.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Once you get on the ship, then you go eat and stuff.
I didn't know that.
I think they told us to wait a little while before going to our room, just because when we went, just because they were still cleaning and your the baggage.
Food time.
Baggage tends to take a little bit of time to get to your room.
You generally can't get into your room before 1 o'clock usually.
Right.
And also your luggage is not guaranteed. Your luggage is not guaranteed to come at a certain time. It should be there sometime at least before the day is up. Most generally ours is there. We've never had any go past 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. Some people do where it's, and that's an important thing to remember, is that because you may not get access to your luggage even throughout the night, you want to make sure that you have clothing
on.
Yes, you want to make sure you have clothing items in your carry-on, maybe an extra pair or two of change of clothes, your swim trunks, medications, things like that.
Very good.
That's good information.
That is very good information.
Underwear.
Yes.
Lots and lots.
Clean underwear is always, mother always told
clean's
me.
important.
Because you may not get your luggage till past the evening mealtime even.
Really?
Yeah, and you don't You don't have to dress. They generally a little lax.
This is
on
Royal
the first
Caribbean.
night. Yeah, but I think all cruise lines are this way. They're a little laxed or relaxed on their dress codes the first night because they know some people may not get their clothing on time.
Oh, okay.
So they generally let's say that there was a requirement for you to wear slacks and a nice shirt or whatever, a jacket in the main dining room. They're generally going to kind of let you fudge on that the first night because you may actually not get your clothing before dinner time.
I was just going to go dinner nude. But
that's frowned upon.
And this is why you tip your porters to make sure your luggage gets to nobody wants to see Steve nude. So
that means if we
tip your porter.
If we go cruising with all these people, they're going to be tipping your porter.
And I would never advise not tipping them because your luggage may go to Timbuktu if you don't tip them.
Well, no, see, this is a good question to ask because we just got done talking about a valet. Mm-hmm. So, how much would you suggest, or how much is appropriate to tip a porter?
Mm-hmm. The general tipping suggestion right now in our society of cruising is $1 to $2 a bag.
Okay.
So that's the general rule.
Let's take a moment for our sponsors.
Two Tenderfoot Tourists is sponsored by Escapade Design. Does your small business have a mobile-friendly website, or is it outdated?
Perhaps you're concerned that your website could be hacked.
Prepare to sleep well tonight.
Escapade Design is the perfect one-stop shop for building or renovation of any small business website.
The programmers use the latest in technology for the best security and usability.
And they'll work tirelessly to give you everything you want in a website.
Visit escapade.design for your website needs.
Need an example of their work?
Check out our new website, twotenderfoottourist.com.
Then go visit escapade.design and start your new adventure in business today.
Also sponsored by Classic Rock Coffee Company is locally owned and started right here in Southwest Missouri.
Don't let the name fool you. You don't have to like rock and roll to enjoy Classic Rock Coffee Company. But it couldn't hurt. Regardless of your favorite pick-me-up, Classic Rock Coffee Company has got you covered. Traditional drinks, flavored drinks, protein shakes, hot teas, and smoothies. Are you hungry? They've got great coffee and a great menu. Yes, they serve food too. That even includes keto. There are so many drinks to choose from. What are our favorites? Well, for me, anything chai. My absolute favorite is the cheesecake chai tea frappe.
And mine is a toss-up between two frappes. The mocha coca and the sweet emotion made with chocolate and caramel are both off the hook. Classic Rock Coffee Company is located at 1230 U.S. Highway 60 in Republic, Missouri.
Let them know the Two Tenderfoot Tourists sent you and get a special discount.
And now, back to our show.
So in case you were wondering, though, how your luggage gets from the porters to your room.
Oh, yeah.
With your set sail pass that your travel agent or online gives you, usually like one of the last pages is a luggage tag, and it'll have like your room number, location, and they're even somewhat color coded.
Oh.
And so if you go to a travel agent, like ours has them all printed off and nice and neat where they're very easy to just loop through the handle on the suitcase. But if you're doing it yourself, you can either use packing tape or something to tape it around as well so that it's visible to the porters and they know where to put it. If you forget that tag for some reason, the porters should be able to look it up and still make copies and get it on your luggage so that they know where to deliver it.
Okay. Has anybody's luggage ever been missing, gone missing, like an airport?
No, ours hasn't.
No?
None for us either.
No.
Okay. It's pretty good, right?
Because we always tip the porters.
Yes.
Tip the porters. Tip the
But
porters.
rule of thumb, like Justin was talking about, the carry-on that you want to bring with you.
Right.
Anything that you would be severely disappointed that it would ruin your vacation if you did not have it the entire week, make sure that it's in that
On your carry-on,
so that you can enjoy your vacation as much
Okay.
as possible.
So now you're on board, right? And the first night you're there, what is your available options? What would you normally do, or what would you recommend for a person to do? Get a feel of the ship? Go eat? What?
I would say when you first get on the ship, you guys can tell me what you guys think. But for me, when you first get on the ship, that's the best time to explore the ship, especially if you're getting there when it's first opening.
Yeah.
Because there's not very many people there. That's the best time to take pictures, to explore. Or if you're a person that's taking a video for YouTube or whatever, that's the best time to do it when you get right on there with less people on there. Generally, most people do that, and then they will have a bite to eat.
Okay.
Usually they go to the buffets or whatever.
Sure.
And that's just waiting till they get into their room.
Okay.
Then once you get into your room, every cruise line has this, but they have an itinerary for the day. And for Royal Caribbean, which we cruise with all the time, it's called a cruise compass. And basically that gives you an hour by hour itinerary of everything that the ship offers. And so a good thing would to be on that first day when you get into your room and you unload your luggage and put it all away and that kind of stuff, is to take that out and peruse that and then highlight the things that you really want to do, because there's so many things to do on a cruise ship in any given time of the day. You're not going to be able to do them all.
Okay.
Especially as a ship gets larger and offers more amenities, more activities, more entertainment. So you have to pick and choose. So it's good to go through that itinerary and say, yeah, I could do without this, but I definitely don't want to miss this. Mark all those things and then use that as your guide for that first day, but every day, but for the first day of doing what you want to do on the ship.
You know, that's one of the things I'm looking forward to with Royal Caribbean, because I felt Norwegian didn't have as many things to do on the ship.
Yeah.
And now it was a 9-day cruise.
Yeah.
But I felt we didn't have a lot to do on the ship itself. And from what I understand, Royal Caribbean has quite a bit more.
They do.
So I'm looking forward to that.
They do. I mean, they have things from, food, from cooking classes to wine tasting to trivia to
Karaoke, I believe.
Yes, to deck activities to swim parties to
Shows, right?
Shows. I mean, anything that you have in a major city, really, you're going to have on a cruise ship, from entertainment to food.
I said I'm looking forward to Justin singing karaoke. I know he's going to.
Oh yeah, Great Balls
He
of
always
Fire.
gets up there and shows off. Is what happens.
Yes, he likes to
I am
sing
a pastor.
Queen songs.
Yes.
Queen songs.
Oh, somebody has to record that.
Yeah.
Someone has to introduce him as the queen.
Yes.
Of
Well, and
cruising.
and this ship is actually going to be one of the smaller ones, so they may not have all of the things on board that some of the larger ships that we've been a part of have on board. But one of the things I'm looking forward to trying is they've got a virtual reality bungee trampoline.
Crazy. Now, okay, some of those activities do not come with the boat. You have to actually pay. Some of the activities, right? Some of them you have to pay. Is that right?
The cooking classes.
Okay,
I
the
think
cooking
you have to
classes.
pay.
I would say the majority of those kinds of things you don't have to pay for.
Now, do you know in advance if whether or not they're available for purchase, or is that something that you won't find out until you get there?
Anything on the cruise compass that costs additional is going to have little dollar signs by it.
Oh.
Yes, you'll know it'll have a dollar sign beside it.
And so if someone wants to be involved with the cooking classes and things like that, then you have to go to a certain counter or a room or something like that, or do you pay for it when you get there?
You can order from your TV as well.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's one thing.
Fancy.
Is that everything that you do monetarily, everything that you do activity-wise, even your shore excursions can all be taken care of from your television in your room.
Very cool.
And I'm assuming you use your C-Pass card. Is that what it's called?
The C-Pass card,
in order to pay for those things, because it's connected to your credit card or debit card or whatever.
Yes, a cruise ship is a cashless society. There's no cash involved in paying for anything. And what you do is you do have a credit card. I think some people put cash on reserve. I don't know. Wow. But as far as a credit card, it's associated with a credit card, and they just bill it to your credit card.
The only thing that I'm aware of that you have to have cash for on board is if you want to gamble on the casino.
Yes.
I gotcha. Now, do they have ATMs and stuff available that are on there?
They do, but I think they're really high feed ATMs.
Are they?
It's like $350 transaction. That's all.
That's it? And you should know, right?
I would advise not using them.
I would.
No cash changing hands.
Now, when you want to cruise, you do want to bring cash with you, especially for when you're at the ports.
Well, and tipping.
Tipping. Oh, I forgot about
your
that.
tipping a lot of times is included.
Yeah, but
if
if you tip extra,
you
though,
tip
you'll
extra,
need cash.
sure, yeah.
Right.
But the ports, that's a big thing. We went with a couple, and they only brought hundreds. and nobody had change for hundreds at these ports.
Oh, wow.
So
Isn't that convenient?
So I kept giving him money for them to pay for everything. I don't know how
Sucker.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I will say
He probably still owes me like $500. Darren, I'm coming after you.
I would say most Caribbean ports take cash, take credit cards.
But we usually take small bills like 1s, 5s, and 10s.
Yeah, that's
that way
good.
we
Okay.
don't have to worry about.
That's
creating
good to know
large
what
bills.
kind of bills to take with
We
you.
have never been in the Caribbean where they did not take cash or credit cards.
Now, if you do use your credit card or debit card, there is going to be an exchange rate, and you may have some extra fees too from your credit card company for international
It
transactions.
just depends.
So,
Yeah.
Okay.
it's probably good to have cash, I'd imagine.
Also, if you're a first-time cruiser, just like if you're traveling anywhere else in the U.S. even, it's a good idea, especially since you're not going to be connected and have a phone nearby, or unless you pay for internet service, but you'll want to let your credit card companies know that you're traveling, or else they may freeze your card, which wouldn't be good.
Okay, so now you're on the cruise, you're enjoying that. Now with your guys' cruise, because you guys are going to Cozumel, and it's only a 4-day cruise out of Galveston. You're coming back to Galveston at the end of it. Cozumel, I've heard people talk about Cozumel all the time. I mean, but Cozumel is one of the more popular ones, I'm guessing.
It is because it's one of the most developed ports in the Caribbean. So it has a lot to offer in amenities and entertainment and amusement and food and excursions.
Okay.
Far more than most other Caribbean ports that we've been to. We've been to quite a few.
And you've been to Cozumel, right?
Many times.
Okay, and you have not,
I
Sean.
have not been to Cozumel.
So, Sean, what are you looking forward to at Cozumel to do?
I just found out which port we're going to a couple days ago, so I haven't even thought about it. We literally booked the cruise. And
He's just a
I
fly by the
wasn't
seat
even
of the
sure which
pants
port we were
kind of
going
guy. Jen, are you comfortable with
which
that?
is hilarious.
No.
They're just going to wait and do what we tell them to do.
Wait. But did you ask me which port we're going to?
No.
Okay. There you go. Obviously was the concern.
Well, okay, so, but my question, anytime that you've gone on a cruise, is there something, are you looking for the beach there? Are you looking for the food there? Are you looking for, what kind of excursion would you be looking for?
You know, the one time we went, I mean, we were looking, it was a 9-day cruise and we went on, we were at
Well,
5 ports.
look at them. It's food.
It's, of course.
Oh.
Wow. I think all of us can say, we want the food.
I was going to say my answer to that would be yes. To all of that. But
Yes.
I will say something. We want the activities.
Wow.
But Jennifer's not the same size as Sean.
wow.
Sean wants to swim with the dolphins and kiss them.
Yes.
There you go.
Sean doesn't know how to swim.
Sean doesn't know how to swim? I don't think so. You're Aquaman.
Yes.
And
yes.
I can speak because I'm slim and trim.
Yes. He's such a lightweight over there.
At least I have hair. But.
I did have a kid one time point at me on the beach and say, "Look, it's a beached whale."
That's brutal. Okay, so you've been
funny.
there.
So
I would
Sean,
laugh.
so it's not just you that's cruel.
Yes.
I'm an equal opportunity offender.
Yeah, anytime the opportunity has. So, okay, so tell the listeners what sort of things they can expect from that port in Cozumel.
Lots of silver.
Ooh, pretty.
Silver?
Mexican silver is a highly prized silver in these parts.
Bring me a surprise.
But do your research on how it's stamped. Certain stamps mean different
Okay, so
qualities.
you've already lost me.
Okay.
What?
Silver.
Silver.
Like actual
Silver
metal?
jewelry and-
Oh, really?
Souvenirs, you're saying, right? Okay.
Jewelry.
I've
things-
never
Vanilla.
heard that before.
Tequila.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, vanilla, tequila.
Well, those are things that people purchase. Vanilla, Mexican vanilla is great.
Can you bring alcohol back with you from the port?
You can, but you will not be able to drink it on the cruise.
So they keep it for you
They will
until
keep
you
it
get.
for you, and then they'll give it back to you when your cruise is over with.
Okay, so I was watching some info videos and stuff about Cozumel and going to Mexico on the cruises. One of the things they said is if you want to save money, tell me if this is correct. If you want to save money on like drinks and stuff like that, that the best place to do it is drink when you get to the port instead of drinking on board.
Yes.
Because you can get the alcohol much cheaper there.
You can, especially if you're in Mexico. Like I'm not a beer drinker, but if you're a beer drinker, beer is very cheap in Cozumel compared to the ship by far. Yeah.
Besides the silver and
You're
things
talking about the activities.
Yeah,
and things
activities. And
Snorkeling.
Yes. And these are excursions and things that you can either get through the cruise line or at the port, correct?
Yes.
And you'd recommend going through which one?
Well, I think that depends. Especially if you're a first-time cruiser and you're worried about safety and getting back to your ship and it not leaving you at the port, which can happen, then you would want to go through the cruise line, because all cruise lines guarantee they will stay until all their passengers on those excursions are back on the ship.
Okay.
Now, if you're adventurous, and many people do not use the cruise line, and that's fine, but that's at their own peril if they can't get back to the cruise ship in time, because the cruise ship will not stay for them.
And they better hope they have a passport.
Yes.
What, Sandy?
I was just going to ask Sean if when they went on their cruise, when you did your excursion, did you go through the cruise line or did you do it on your own?
We went through the cruise line most of the time. One time we did not. One time we went to a local resort and got a all day, all inclusive pass for the day.
Yeah.
Okay.
We do both. We do it through the cruise line and privately.
Okay, so just looking at some of the things that Cozumel has to offer is, for instance, you said swimming with dolphins. I saw that. Zip lining is another one.
Yes.
Correct.
So cool.
Yes.
Zip lining is there, and also the Mayan temples are there. They got like several different Mayan
There's
temples.
a lot of Mayan ruins like Tulum and places like that. Now, those kinds of things usually are very long excursions. So if you're going to go on a Mayan ruin excursion in, say, in Cozumel or just in Mexico in general, those are all day long type of things normally. So if you want time to shop or that kind of stuff, or to look around at the port, you're generally not going to have time to do that if you go on a Mayan ruin tour.
Okay.
Because those are generally all day type of excursions. And they're hot. You have to remember, Mexico is humid in a warm place almost all year round.
All right.
So you do a lot of walking, a lot of hiking, and a lot of sweating on those things. I'm not deterring people from doing it, but you better be prepared for it.
Right.
So, Jen, are you going to go ziplining?
No.
There's also Segway tours.
Now that would be fun.
There's like salsa and salsa classes where you learn to salsa dance and learn to make salsas.
Ooh, salsa.
There's like
Chocolate making classes.
chocolate making.
Is this all
like
at Cozumel?
excursions.
Yes.
Wow.
I did see an excursion. I don't know if it's through Royal Caribbean or not, but I did see one that was a personalized submarine you can go on underwater.
Oh,
that was kind of cool.
You guys should totally go
That
to the
was
salsa
cool.
classes.
Yes.
I want to see you guys
I've
salsa
been to a
dance.
salsa class before, and I don't think I'm going to go back. So.
They also have a helmet diving.
Yes.
Have you seen that?
No
Yeah.
way.
What?
Really? Helmet diving?
Yes.
You know, where you got the big old metal helmet?
Oh, and you, oh
Yeah,
my
the
goodness.
little
that would-
submarines have
so-
that too. They have a little thing.
They're not metal anymore though. They're plastic.
They're plastic.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it's
It's
called weights on your shoes
it's
or
called-
feet. And
It's called Snuba.
Snuba?
I would love to believe I could do that, but I think I'd freak out.
Well, you're a little bit of claustrophobia. And
I think your hair's too big to fit in the
Probably
the
too.
helmet.
I got a lot of hair.
I said hair.
yes,
head.
that's right. Not head, hair.
I
Head
will.
or hair.
You know,
I will say
takes
this.
one to know one.
I will say this though. There are beaches that have all those activities in one place. For instance, we've been to Chocodnaw Beach multiple times. They have zip lining and beach break and snorkeling and tequila tasting.
Is that a
and
part of one package?
you can add or take away from the package. So there's multiple price points at that beach.
Oh,
So you
What's
can
beach
take-
break?
A beach break is going to the beach.
Okay, that's all I want to know.
And so you're at multiple price points. They have a price just for going to the beach and maybe snorkeling. They have a price for snorkeling and zip lining. They have, so that particular beach also has a sea lion show, and you can swim with the dolphins, and it has all kinds of activities that you can add or add to the experience.
Okay.
The most
Is this Cozumel that you're talking about, or is this
Yes,
somewhere else?
Cozumel.
Okay.
But most ports like that have an experience where it's kind of a la carte. You can take bits and pieces of whatever they have to offer, and it comes in a package, and you pay one fee, and you can do those type of things.
Okay. All right. So, Sandy, just out of curiosity, out of all the things that they had said, which one out of the excursions actually interests you the most?
Oh, man. There's several, actually, because I'd love to go see the Mayan ruins.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, what other opportunity would I get to see something like that?
That is true.
But definitely the beach. I'm not a big shopper, but at the same time, when you're somewhere like that, it's different.
Get ready to haggle.
I grew up with my mother. Okay, I can haggle.
Cozumel doesn't haggle
Well,
a
they
lot
don't really.
at the port. Now, if you get off into the
Mayan
a little
ruins
bit more,
area?
Okay.
But most countries, and we've been to quite a few,
Right.
the vendors are aggressive, some more aggressive than others. Cozumel's not so bad compared to like Haiti, okay?
Oh.
Haiti, they might follow after you the whole time wanting you to buy something.
Well, that's what they did to my family when I was a little kid when we went to Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
My mom was trying to haggle and they didn't want to go down, and she goes, "Forget it." And off she went with us. Well, they were following her and yelling and telling her the prices they would go down. Finally, she got what she wanted because they were going to follow her everywhere.
Wow.
If that bothers you, it will be a strange event, but we're so used to it now.
But Cozumel isn't like that at the port, though.
Not
Well,
as bad.
Not as bad.
They do let you haggle on jewelry.
Oh.
Yeah, we both
But on
have
the
done it.
other goods, we haven't had a lot of success there.
We've haggled silver down quite a bit. I mean, like a lot.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And you know I would totally zip line.
Yeah, you would totally zip line. I guarantee it. You would be the. Well, you know, it's a good thing because you may have that opportunity.
Do you know what he's saying?
Yeah, I do.
It's non-refundable.
Oh boy.
Guess
Oh,
what,
boy.
Sandy?
Let's hope there's not a bunch of snow days.
Yeah.
Guess what, Sandy?
Well, it's not a secret though.
You'll have to share us.
Yes.
Steve, what are you showing her?
I'm showing her that that is the reservation right there on our
We're
phone.
going with these crazy people.
You're going with
Yes.
You are
Congratulations.
Oh boy.
We're gonna make cruisers out of you.
So I'm a little bit nervous about it because I've wanted to go for a long time, but I've never been on a boat at all in the ocean.
You'll
so it's a
love
little
it.
bit.
Sandy, you'll be fine.
But a 4-night is a great way to test your
that's a
feet
short one.
without it being a huge commitment.
Right.
And that's what's so nice about this idea is the fact that it's like 4 days and she doesn't know if whether or not she'll be seasick or anything like that, which, by the way, we need to probably talk about it for people who have that concern about being seasick and what there is to do about it. But this is a good opportunity for her and I to get our feet wet. And
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not wet, but you know what I'm trying to say, though.
They only seek every other time. It's okay.
Just we'll be
Ask
just
my
that
mom.
We've all seen the Titanic. We know the end of the story.
We know how it works.
There's no icebergs in the Gulf of Mexico.
Well, if you ask my
There's
mom,
other
why she,
things.
Yes.
if you ask my mom why she won't go,
Oil
she says,
rigs.
"I don't want to be out there. What if there's pirates?"
That's true. She does all the time.
Yeah, there's not too many pirates out in those types of ports.
Not in the Gulf of Mexico, I don't think.
Yeah.
So you excited?
Yeah, I am actually.
You seem a little hesitant.
Oh, I've got to get some weight off, boys and girls.
We've known for a while now, Sandy.
About her taking weight off?
About going on the cruise.
It's only been a week.
Okay, now I have a real reason to.
There you go.
That, don't I?
There you go. There you go. See? Okay, so we're all excited about being on a cruise with you. And I'm so glad that I can say something now because it was so hard for me not to say something. You know what? I'm gonna stop this episode right now. And I guess we could bring you back in for a second episode if that's all right with everyone. You guys willing to go through another episode of this torture?
Yes.
How about you, Jen?
Yes. I'll have to check my schedule.
I wish. Okay, one, I wish Jen would shut up, and then
She just
second,
won't stop
I know,
talking,
she's
I know.
Talking too much.
dominates this entire. Well, come on over and just take it over, Jen. Okay, well let's stop here. We'll bring him back, and we'll continue discussion, and we'll talk about some of the excursions that are available and what it looks like. And we also talk about eating on the cruise ship. And
Which Justin says evidently everybody in this room would prefer.
I totally prefer to eat.
Just Sean.
Just me. Okay, Justin, how much do you gain usually during the cruise? Let's talk about
the average gain literally.
No, not the average.
No,
Not the
how
average.
much
I'm
have
saying
you
you
The
gain.
average literally is 2 pounds a day. So I have gained 2 pounds a day before.
So are you just average? Not
Actually,
above average?
last time I didn't gain that much.
Okay.
No,
I
but-
exercised every day because they have full gyms on there.
But
by the
our
way.
first cruise, do you remember how much you gained?
I gained a few pounds.
Our first cruise, I gained 4 pounds.
Wow. Then it's easy to do then. I mean, it's like very easy.
I do know the chapel services on the cruise every Sunday. The main sin that is confessed is gluttony.
Gluttony. Okay, so we'll bring you back in. We'll talk about what people can expect from dining on the cruise. We can talk about alcohol packages. There's packages you can have for drinks. There's packages for meals. There's all kinds of different options that a person would have just simply by taking a cruise. And a lot of the misnomers is the fact that it's all inclusive. Everything is free, and that's not necessarily true, correct?
That's true. Although you can go on a cruise and not spend a dime and have a good time.
That is true. That is
So
true.
we'll talk about all that so we can clarify how to best save the most money.
So come back, listen to...
Because Steve's going to have to know how to save a lot of money.
That's right. Okay, so the Queen City Cruisers, a.k.a. the Ambassadors of Cruising, will come back. Sean and Jen, the talkative Jen, will come back. And we'll talk about more about cruising.
Okay, we all hope you really enjoyed that episode because we really had a fun time recording it, did we not?
We did. It was a really good time. And honestly, I was a little skeptical at having that many people in this room, and it really paid off. Honestly, it was great. Hopefully the sound issues get worked out, but
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good time.
It was a really good time, and the information that was brought to the podcast, and we hope that you found it as informative as we did, because we've never been on a cruise before. And Sandy, what'd you guys think of that surprise? What'd you think of that surprise, Sandy?
I'm excited about it. and now we can start planning because we know more information.
Yeah, exactly. So listen, if you found this podcast helpful and you want to add or contribute something else to that podcast, the information is that was presented in that episode, just feel free to write us at tenderfoottourist@gmail.com. We also have a website, tenderfoottourist.com. And you can find all of our podcasts there. You have links to our Facebook page, our Instagram, and also our Twitter account. We try to keep track of that as best we can. It's not very easy because we both work full-time jobs.
Right.
So be patient with us if we don't respond quickly. Listen, with that being said, thank you so much for listening to our podcast, episode
Number 68, the one about the beginner's guide to cruising.
My name is Steve.
And I'm Sandy.
Until next time.
Stay tender.